Rayzr. Hey, welcome back to Sketchin with Rayzr, and today I'm drawing, guess what? Yet another thumbnail for my video game channel. This time I'm drawing a thumbnail for the video game called The Messenger. Ooh, ah. It's essentially a side scroller where you are a ninja. He is a messenger for the world or the universe or whatever the heck, and you're delivering this message to save said world. It's really ridiculous. I mean, it's like you really start off straight out of the gate, you're introduced to this giant, fat, four-headed, demon-looking creature before you have to go on this ridiculous adventure of like going around the world and collecting gems and trying not to fall off the ledges, because you're definitely gonna be doing a lot of that. Like it's so ridiculous when it comes to these games where it's like, okay, go on your adventure, but yeah, try to survive the perils that comes with it. It's like, okay, yeah, I can do that. I can beat up enemies, but oh man, all the enemies have like a whole bunch of, not even enemies actually, no. It's the enemies are less of a problem in comparison to the number of traps and platforming throughout this game. Like you will fall a lot to your doom, and it's loosely because of the control. It's not necessarily difficult per se. It's just that you have to watch. You have to be mindful of your jumping arcs, and sometimes you just have to definitely go for it or not go for it at all. You just gotta have to learn, because there are a large number of obstacles that will ramp up in difficulty throughout the game or as you go along, and you fall. You fall a lot, or at least I know I did. I fell a whole bunch. Honestly, I don't even think. I think the only enemies per se that I've had difficulty with is, of course, the bosses. That just kind of like comes with the program. It's like, if not the regular enemies, you're definitely gonna have some sort of challenge with the bosses, because that's definitely where you want the challenge to be, aside from the platforming. I guess you can say not solely bosses and platforming. I guess you can say that you'd want difficulty from the regular enemies, but I'm really struggling to think of any regular Joes that I had difficulties with. Nope, I can't think of any. Mostly the bosses and the platforming. Oh my gosh. And this game does something that it's not necessarily unique to just like the genre itself, but it keeps tally of your defeats or falls, or and the way they structure the quote unquote tally, at least the way they portray it, is through a debt system, DEBT. And there is a creature, I'm not sure if he's like a demon or something, but he's like this one-eyed flying creature, and his name is Quarble, Quarble, and I think that's how you pronounce it. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. Quarble! He's a little adorable, but he's got quite the smart mouth. Like every time you lose said life, he'll make a joke about it or some sort of snarky comment on it. And I noticed some of them, and some of them were funny, but because of how many issues I've had with the platforming, I kind of just like skipped past his dialogue repeatedly just to get back to the platforming, so I can freaking get past it because of how frustrating it was. But yeah, does it get easier? Well, okay, yeah, so technically yes, it does get easier as you learn the flow, because when you're in a flow of platforming and using your various progressing abilities and weapons and whatnot, there is a flow, and once you get down that flow, you're really smooth sailing. There's even a trophy for going from the beginning of the game to defeating, I believe it's the Queen of Quills, I believe. And it's like it's pretty, it's not too far into the game, but it's far enough to where, it's a challenge just to not, fall off or, lose any lives up until that point. But it's very possible when you're in the flow. I've actually done it. Well, I've only done that challenge in a New Game Plus, mostly because you have all of your weapons and abilities from the previous playthrough, and man, that is it definitely made things a whole lot easier to be able to go through the beginning all the way to that point. And I now that I think about it, I did that pretty freaking easily because, of course, New Game Plus, I knew all the bosses' movements and whatnot. I almost did it with no damage. Like, it's that ridiculous. Like, the flow, man. It's all about the flow. The flow! The flow! But yeah, it was a fun game. I really dug it. And I think you guys should play it too. And if not, definitely listen to the freaking soundtrack. Oh man, it's got a lot of bumping tunes. Hey, just like the first track alone, like in that first area after the whole apocalypse starting thing, man, I actually stopped playing the game just to groove to it. It was that good. Matter of fact, I'm probably gonna look that up later to figure out there is like a soundtrack that I could just purchase or something. If not, just listen to YouTube. But it's really well done, and I recommend it. Oh, but in terms of the thumbnail, what I wanted to do is essentially have the main character, which you can name. I named him the Goob. Goob Ninja. Ninja Goob. As a matter of fact, did they ever say that during the dialogue? No, they don't say the name of the ninja during the dialogue. They just call him the messenger, which is a little annoying, because I kind of wanted them to say this silly, stupid name that I put there, but that's fine. They have their own set of jokes throughout the whole game. But yeah, what I wanted to do was have the main character essentially point his fist towards the screen, because foreshortening looks cool, at least when done right. I had a little bit of, I'm not even going to say a little bit, I had trouble, of course, with foreshortening. I used myself as the model, and I initially was trying to draw him holding his, like, throwing his fist towards the screen, but also holding his katana. But the issue with that was the angle that I had set my arm in from the, the model picture that I took of myself. I didn't angle my arm right, because I didn't actually have something, strapped to me to hold during the pose. I remedied that by essentially having the ninja hold shurikens, or ninja stars, or whatever you want to call them. And, just doing a cool pose like that in front of the moon, because that's how cool he is. Because he's secretly a werewolf. He's not, but that would have been cool. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead into the speed art section of speed paint, speed art. And you guys have a good one. Keep it mind, body, and soul razor sharp.
Rayzr.